Hey guys, what's up? So today I'm doing the Q&A video a day early. It's Friday instead of Saturday. And that's just because tomorrow we have garden plans. So we went out today, got a bunch of stuff to start our garden. So we'll be working on that tomorrow because the weather is supposed to be really nice tomorrow. So I figured I would just do the Q&A today. And so just like the other Q&As, I'm going to let YouTube filter the comment section. So any question that pops up that I haven't answered already, I will answer that in this video. Alright, so first question. Oh, it's a pancake question. Let's see. I've read that turmeric's healing properties are augmented with either a fat or black pepper. Do you think flax equals fat? Yes, definitely. Flaxseed is primarily fat, healthy fats. If that is true, that turmeric is better with fat, then having turmeric and flaxseed together, that should be totally fine. But as far as the recipe for the pancakes, that's where this comment is from, those pancakes do have fat in them. Did you kiss your stack of pancakes? I'm pretty sure I just was smelling them in that video, but they are delicious, so totally kiss-worthy. What is the difference between chapati and pita bread? To me, chapati are just thinner flatbreads. They don't have yeast in them. Pita bread does have yeast, so they're thicker and more puffy. Because chapati is just flour, salt, and water. The pita bread is flour, salt, water, yeast. Someone's asking me, how tall are you? On the Why Eat Large Meals video. I am 5 feet tall. Not sure why you need to know that, but I am 5 feet tall. Oh, another question about the difference between pita and chapatis. So yeah, same thing. Pita just has yeast. Chapatis don't. They don't take as long to make either because you don't have to let them rest. Pita bread, you have to let it proof for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Chapati, I just mix up when we're making dinner and then just portion them out, put them in the pan. So it's a faster cooking flatbread. Have you considered getting bicycles and using them for commuting and road trips through Missouri? Yes, we definitely want to get bicycles. It's spring right now, so we just haven't had a chance to get them, but that's something that we want to do in the future. For the tiny house, are you guys using a portable gas stove for all of your cooking? I guess the stove that we have is technically a camping one, so it is portable, but it's more like legit than the other camping one we have where the canisters were smaller, because this stove is actually hooked up to like a big gas bottle, but that's what we use in the house right now. We have no plans to get an actual stove, like a built-in one or anything. Shouldn't you be starting the garden, planting stuff, or at least preparing seedlings? I guess so. We went to the garden shops today to pick up supplies. We're just gonna start that whenever we get around to it. We're gonna build some of the stuff tomorrow. But I'm not in a rush to start the garden, because I'm viewing this as a fun hobby. So we're just gonna start it whenever we have time. Yeah, so we'll get there. Lisa, are you an experienced coconut whipped cream maker? They say they tried it the other day, couldn't get it to stiffen up. I was wondering if I can also use cream of tartar for it. Do you maybe know? It should whip up fine if you just use like a full fat coconut cream. But I'm not really sure. Like, I can't tell why it didn't work out. But I wouldn't add cream of tartar to that. Oh, another garden question. You don't start growing vegetables yet? Nope, not yet. Is your dog vegan too? Yep, Aika's totally vegan. I know I've mentioned that in videos before. There was a Q&A where I talked about that, so I will link it in a card on this video. Why didn't you use cooking chocolate instead? Oh, she's talking about the chocolate mousse. I didn't use cooking chocolate because I wanted to use that dark chocolate. When making chocolate mousse, you can really use any chocolate. How do you avoid being annoyed, getting tired of each other if you spend 24/7 together as a couple? We just like each other, so we can actually be together all the time and it's never a problem. So since Kuba and I met, we've only been separated in the times where like we had to be apart, like when I was traveling through Europe by myself. We were separated for the 6 months, but he would still come and visit me every month. So besides times like that, we've spent every single day together all day long, and we never get tired of it. Yeah, it's not like there's like a trick to that. I mean, we both have our own interests, so we can work on our own stuff. If we're working on our own things separately, we still feel more comfortable if we're working on those things, like where the other person is still nearby, so we can see them and say hi and whatever. And it's always been that way since we met. Like, we always wanted to be together. So I don't really know how to explain, like, how to get to that point. We wouldn't be together if we didn't feel that way, where we'd want to stay with each other all the time. And, like, traveling around as a couple, living in the van, or even building this house, like, it just wouldn't happen. So I guess we're lucky that we just want to be around each other 24/7. Why are you wearing a hat in the house? LOL. If I'm wearing a hat in the house in the videos, it either means my head is cold, or it's just more comfortable to have the hat on, or maybe I just forgot to take it off. That's another option. You say oil, but not oils are the same. Olive oil is very good. If you eat olives, what is the difference with extra virgin olive oil? Has omega. Olive oil has no fiber. It has no other nutrients in it besides fat. It's like comparing white sugar to fruit. Olives are a whole food. They have healthy fats in them. They also have fiber and a whole bunch of other nutrients in them, protein. So it'd be like if I were to have a spoonful of sugar versus eat a banana. The olives and banana have the fiber and everything else with it to slow it down when your body's digesting it. You'll get fuller faster if you're eating a bunch of olives than if you were just to eat a bunch of olive oil, because it doesn't sit in your stomach the same. If you watch that video, Why I Eat Large Meals, that's where this comment comes from, there's an infographic in there that shows how different foods fill your stomach. So oil just does not fill you up the same as fruit and veggies. I'd just prefer to eat the olives. Hi Lisa, what do you use on your pan so that your pancakes don't stick to the pan? I just use a non-stick pan. But yeah, nothing sticks to that pan. That's why we use it for pancakes, flatbreads, stuff just comes right off. I'm not looking to replace that pan. That's just what we're using right now. It was gifted to us. It works fine. I like using non-stick pans, so I'm going to keep using that. Are you allowed to grow veg on the land? Yes, we totally can grow vegetables here, just haven't gotten around to it yet. Do you use iron pans? What about gardening? No, we don't use iron pans. We only have the non-stick pan, and then we have 2 pots from IKEA. Oh, here's a good one. Did you like Hereditary? I liked the film, but I still wasn't as impressed as I wanted to be with the horror film. So it was okay, but to me, the story was a little, I don't know, I feel like it was just more an art piece than an actual story in that film. It was definitely better than average for a recent horror movie. We also watched Midsummer soon after we watched Hereditary. There wasn't anything unique about it, so I was kind of disappointed with that one. I just wasn't too impressed with that, to be honest. Hereditary was better. It still wasn't as good as like The Shining or The Thing. Alright, someone's asking, may I ask you to build a birdhouse? Not the regular one, but the type which is mounted on your window glass. And once Mama Bird accepts it, then the life comes to it. Yeah, I don't know about building birdhouses. If you had $1,000, could you visit Poland for a month? It really depends on like where you want to visit and what level of accommodation you want, because you might be able to get accommodation for free if you're going to be couch surfing the whole month or staying with a friend, because it could last you a month or it could not. You could spend that in like a weekend. Really just depends on too many factors for me to answer that. Oh, someone's asking me if I have room to add moderators for, like, to deal with the comments or whatever. I actually tried to add moderators before. I tried to add Kuba, but it just doesn't work. And, like, I still can't get that to work. So it's something with YouTube's, like, studio that's just, it's not working right now. But I've decided that I don't want to put that task on someone else because it's just a mess. So I would rather just deal with it. Yeah, I feel a lot better now with dealing with the comments. So if it ever does get to the point where I feel like I need help doing that, then I'll investigate more to see if I can add moderators now. But the last few times I tried, it just would not work, and I don't know why. Another garden question. Have you guys decided what you want to grow? What are you looking most forward to planting? I bought the seeds today, so I will show you those tomorrow. We just want to grow stuff that we eat. So like carrots, beets, radishes, peppers, things like that. And then we'll just take it from there and see what happens. Oh, someone's asking for a link to the bralette thing in my 13 things I don't buy as a minimalist video. Those bras are just from the Gap. It's like a Gap lounge bra. I really don't know what they're called. But if you go to like a Gap website or just the shop, you should be able to find them. May I ask, did you make any mistakes in your journey towards veganism, minimalism, and tiny house living? Any heads up for those of us who are still in the beginning? One thing, like regarding any change in lifestyle, is that you can't try to be perfect right away because you will make mistakes. So like, that might stop a lot of people from trying to be vegan if they're worried like, oh, I'm gonna mess up or eat the wrong thing or buy the wrong thing. But I would just suggest you try it and then you can change along the way. Because like when I first went vegan, I didn't really look into issues outside of food. So like I wasn't aware of like the problems with zoos, aquariums, animals being used for fashion, like the leather industry, stuff like that. That wasn't really on my radar. So I just learn more every year. I feel like you really can't make a mistake that's so serious that it's gonna like derail your efforts. You just have to be okay with making mistakes here and there. And like with minimalism, I feel like there's no wrong way to start being a minimalist because really you just have to like get rid of stuff and simplify your life. So there are things that I got rid of when I was leaving the States that now they would be useful if I still had them now, but there's no way I could have predicted like, oh yeah, in like 4 years time I might need a blender or something like that, so don't get rid of that thing. Because it just wouldn't be practical to keep everything just in case. Yeah, I mean, I can't really think of anything regarding the tiny house living. Van living though, that was more difficult and tricky than I thought it was going to be. Just because I didn't account for how much time I would spend like just sitting down like on the computer, let's say when you're doing like daily vlogs. So living in a van, it's not as exciting or as comfortable as you would expect if you're making daily videos and you have to like, if you're like working from home, let's say. It's not the most comfortable situation. Yeah, I guess it would have been nicer if we started building the house, let's say in the spring, early spring, then we would have had more time to build the house. Then it would have been less stressful for Cuba, so we wouldn't have to do it in like 2 months' time. We'd have like more time to do that. When we started planning the tiny house thing, part of me wanted to do it where it was like, oh, we could build the whole thing using reclaimed materials. But then when we started looking more into it, that wouldn't be possible given the time frame that we had because we had to build this house as quickly as possible because we needed it up before winter. We were living in Krakow in a flat, and so there was no way for us to start gathering materials to build the house because like we didn't have anywhere to put those things. So if we could do it again, then maybe I would allow for more time to build the house, and then that would give us time to go collect a bunch of used discarded building materials and use like stuff like that instead of getting it new from Castorama. But maybe we'll just keep that in mind for the next thing we do. Someone says, you have such a great personality. What is your MBTI type? I don't even know what that means. MBTI. Oh, it's like Myers-Briggs type indicator. I have no idea. I'll have to look into that. I have no idea. Oh, another gardening question. Do you have any gardening plans for this season? Yes, we'll get into them tomorrow, but we are going to garden. Part of me was on the fence, like, because we have a lot to do with the house. Like, we have to finish the siding and do the porch. And we have other plans coming up, too. So part of me wanted to just, like, shelve the gardening idea for this year and pick it up next year. But we went out today, bought some stuff for the garden, so we are going to start it tomorrow and just see how it goes. And this will be the last question for today. It's on my night routine video. They're asking me, did you really eat this every day? Yeah, I'm guessing we were eating like some one-pot pasta thing. We do eat pasta every day, but the pasta dish varies because it just depends on what veggies we're putting in there. It never gets tiring. Like if you imagine your favorite meal ever, like whatever your favorite food is, imagine you having that for dinner every night. Like, if it's your favorite food, you'd probably want to eat it every night. That's how I feel about the pasta. Because it tastes different every time we have it. We just keep adding things to it, add different beans, it's seasoned slightly differently. We'll have it with different breads. So it's always exciting to me. Alright, so that's all the questions for you guys today. Nothing too crazy. Aika, what do you want from me? But yeah, so we're starting the garden tomorrow, so I'm excited to share that with you guys. Feel free to ask more questions, and I'll get to them in next week's Q&A on Friday or Saturday, depending whenever's a good time. So thanks so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Hey, can I hold you? I have to do a thumbnail, so I have to look like,